This guy writes me. He says, I'm 26. I live in Australia. It's been a massive year this year. First year away from home in another state. And also first time getting serious and having fun with a girl. And she's 30. So he's 26. She's 30. He says, we had fun and got to know each other deeply for 3 months. I really need you. Okay, I'm sorry. It's not a bad thing to get to know a girl deeply. It just, when guys say it, it just gives me the ick factor. Because I'm like, when I hear a guy say, we got to know each other deeply, what I think and feel in my head is, and he probably also told her about all these feelings and told her about all his trauma, blah, 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 blah. And that's not stuff I think should be being done in the first 3 months. But maybe this guy didn't do that. Maybe I'm just, putting that out there. But anyway, so, he says lots of I love yous and sex. So in the first 3 months, guys, you should not be saying I love you. And you definitely should not be saying it first. Like, I know there's always a debate online about, should the woman say I love you first or should the guy say it? My thing is this, is that because women typically move at a slower pace than guys, it's always good in that case to wait for the woman to verbalize those things first, which will let you know that when you say it, that she'll be ready to hear it. But I found doing that too early on, more often than not, results in the woman being like, I know we're boyfriend and girlfriend, but I hadn't gotten to the love thing yet. I feel weird now. So he's already making mistakes, but he's not aware of that because he doesn't study this stuff like I do, So he says, she has said, so keep in mind, lots of I love yous and sex, right? She has said she's not ready for a relationship, so we're just friends with benefits. You can't make this up, guys. I literally call this. And the reason that they're not boyfriend and girlfriend, honestly, is because he's being too deep with her and he's saying, I love you a lot. So you don't win points with women by all the stuff he's doing is feminine energy stuff. So saying feelings, that's feminine energy. Saying all the I love yous in the world, feminine energy. Being extra deep about stuff, feminine energy. The problem is for women that want masculine men, it makes them less willing to want to date you now because it almost feels like they're dating a girl. It's not fair that it's that way, guys. You don't have to like it. I'm just giving you the real on that, okay? But anyway, so he says she's a European backpacker and goes back in 12 months. Okay. I felt we connected really deeply and seemed to complement each other in so many ways. So I've said this on the show before, and I'll say it again for you new guys, right? With guys, because we don't typically share a lot of deep personal stuff with people because, we're thinking we don't want our stuff used against us and we don't know who we can trust with this stuff, that when we talk to women about these things deeply, we feel that is now a real connection. Women do this crap all the time. Women will meet a woman and by the end of the night, they have shared their darkest feelings with each other. This is just standard for them. So you cannot assume that because you're not used to sharing deep stuff, that when you did it, you felt deeply, therefore she did also. You can't assume she's feeling the same thing because this is just normal sharing for her. This is just how she gets to know you and also friends and family. Okay? So stop taking this thing of I felt things deeply because we talked. This is how they bond. So to you, it's a thing. To them, it's not. Anyway, he says, I went back home early as I had family stuff going on. But then when she left 3 weeks ago now, we decided to do a road trip back home together, which started really well, but then went downhill quick. Ooh. And it seems the dynamic has changed. He said we hadn't missed a 24-hour period without texting one another until after this trip. As of today, we haven't spoken in 4 days. So guys, let's recap, right? He's known her for 3 months, and every single day for the last 3 months, he's been texting her nonstop, and now he can't figure out why she's pulling away. Now, those of you that watch the show regularly, can you guess why she's a possible reason why she is suddenly pulling away? I did an experiment a few years ago where I got reacquainted with a girl, and I said I'm just going to try some stuff out. So for every single day for a month, I was either sending her emails or texting her or calling her. And by the end of the month, she was no longer interested. Now, to be fair, there were things on my end that when you text that much, you're bound to inevitably say the wrong thing or have something that you say that's taken out of context or say a joke that you thought through text would translate and it turned out it doesn't. That kind of stuff happens when you're texting too much, which is why my general mantra is unless you're using the phone to set up dates, why the heck are you on the phone? Because this is inevitable. And for those of you that I've been doing a show for the live show for almost close to a year now, and I have had show after show after show where guys have said, texting was great in the beginning. I was texting her all the time. And now all of a sudden she's falling off. When are you guys going to get that texting every single day inevitably leads to women starting to lose interest. Those things are connected because you're not giving a woman time to miss you and think about you. And you're probably texting her inconvenient times when she's like, oh, this is inconvenient, but I don't want to hurt his feelings. And I feel obligated to text him, so I guess I will. Well, that obligation over time starts to feel like, I don't want to do that. And he should be fine if I don't text him back for a couple of hours. And the women find out when they do that, oh, why aren't you texting me? What's going on? Are you cheating? Blah, 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 blah. Like, if you weren't texting so much in the first place, then that wouldn't be a situation. So just another example, guys. But anyway, he says, to be fair, she had a bit going on with her family back in Europe, so the trip wasn't as fun as it was intended to be. I don't know what the thing was happening in Europe, but that's just an excuse. Like the reality is women that have a high interest in you will always find time to reach out to you and call you and text you and see what's up, unless you've been doing it too much and they start to lose interest, in which case they'll pull off like this woman does. But yeah, that's an excuse. Like, don't buy that. Like women across, I've dated some of the busiest women in the world that have still managed to find an hour to see me, found a half hour to do a quick FaceTime. I'm out here in Hollywood where like I have friends in the industry who will still be like, hey, I can't talk to you right now. I'll call you back in 30 minutes. And then they actually call back. So if a woman's not doing that, it's lowered interest. He says she's a very deep person and had a lot to say about finding my independence and knowing what I want in life. Oh, because she's 30 and he's 26. I guess what I'm concerned about is losing her altogether, even the friendship. This is another example of a guy that doesn't have an abundance mentality. Because if a woman came to me and was like, hey, so I need time, blah, 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 and I don't know if I have this in, I'd be like, okay, well, reach out when you can. And then I'd be on to other women because I know they exist. And I'd find more time to do. Every time I've gone through a breakup, my first thought is like, I guess I have more time to like devote to my goals. Like, it doesn't phase me. But if guys that it phases, you're gonna be like this, where it's like, I don't want to lose her and I'm so desperate. It's totally fine to like a girl and have hopes to want to actually be with her long term. But you also have to understand that women have their own free will too. And at any point, they could choose they don't want you. And you have to be prepared for that and be like, if that happens, it's going to suck. Like, you have a heart, so it's going to suck. Don't think you won't go through the emotions, but be like, I'm going to go through the emotion of it, and then I'll be moving on, and I'll be fine. And ultimately, as I found getting older, everything inevitably turns out fine. Like, the girl that you're striving for so hard today will be a very distant memory tomorrow as you're moving on to somebody else. Just giving you guys some hope out there. But anyway, he says, what do you see in this situation that I don't? Should I give her space? Will she eventually come back to keep the friendship? How can one bad trip undo 3 months of positive fun times? Is she pulling away or is it over for good? Well, here's the thing. For right now, I would say that the fact that she's not reaching out so much, it could very well just be that you're there too much and she needs a break. And you know what? This is why, as a guy, you just need to already know how to build breaks into relationships. Like for me, I'm an introvert, so I still tell women that I'm dating, I need my alone time. There's going to be days where I'm doing absolutely nothing, and I don't want you to come over because I need my alone. I don't say it like that. I say it a lot nicer. I'm saying it to you guys. I can be direct to you guys. But like, yeah, I let girls know I need my alone time. There's going to be times where I want to go places. I'll tell women like, hey, if we're on a vacation somewhere and I say like, hey, I'm going to the hotel lobby and I don't invite you to come, it means I need my alone time. And I'm saying it as nice as I can. So if I don't invite you along, that's my alone time. So you got to let women know that you need time to yourself. And also, I found that most women, they get into relationships where guys don't let them have a break. They want to call all the time. They want to have them around nonstop. And I have found that when I've simply said, hey, I need my alone time, but I also recognize you need your alone time. If there's ever a time where like you need time to yourself and you don't want me around, just let me know. I'll find something else to do. Women are so appreciative of that because most guys aren't doing that. Most guys are just trying to cling to the bit and like, oh, I want to be around her all the time. And you can like and love a person and still be like, give them a break from you. Like the most loving thing you could do is recognize that she needs a break from you at times and not take it personally. And I assure you, if you don't take it personally, she will in her head be like, that's so nice of him. Now I want to be around him all the time. But if you're just you're making it not her choice when you're constantly around her all the time, which makes her feel in some ways resentment towards you because it's like, how dare this guy come in and just assume I want to be around him all the time. Like, that's not fair. So you just got to know, hey, babe, love you to death, but you know what? You need a break. You need to go hang with the girls. You need to spend time to yourself. I won't be hurt by it. If we're ever together and say, hey, I need to go home and just rest for a little bit by myself, totally fine. Like, be that guy. That guy's the one that's going to have women more apt to want to be around them a lot more, you know? Let's see. Then he says something about like, I realize older girls go for younger girls just for some fun. Well, the reality is no. That's the narrative being pushed right now, because the reality is this, is that older women will get with younger guys. Younger guys either won't know how to handle it or will want to be around them all the time, at which point the girl has to come back with, no, I just wanted to have fun. But I found even women that say that, if you're doing all the right things during the dating process, she will eventually be like, I know I said, I thought in my head, I just wanted this for fun, but like, man, he's just everything I want. Like, oh my God. So you can't fall for that lie. You have to learn how to be the guy that knows how to properly date women, to be able to get them of their own accord to build attraction to you and think to themselves, I thought I just wanted fun, but now I want this guy. That's why I have a whole program, the Introvert Dating Success Academy, which again, you can check out at the link in the chat box above, Anyway, he says, it's seriously hard to let go. I've been struggling mentally to stay focused and try to pursue my life. I think I'm struggling so much due to her being my first, as there's such an emotional connection involved. Well, I get it, dude. Honestly, the first person you get connected with in that way, especially if you're saying like you lost your virginity to her, then like that first person, there's, at least in my experience, there's always gonna be a part of your heart that's like tied to them. Like they broke that experience for you. They ideally made it pleasurable. And it's like, yeah, you're going to have good feelings for them. That doesn't always mean though, that first person you had is meant to stay in your life forever. Sometimes it does. And if it does, fantastically great. But I think I think a problem that virgins in particular have is that, especially guys, we've been told this narrative that women want virgins, that if you do it with that person, it's going to be there forever. That's unfortunately not how this works. The reality is, you as a virgin, you hook up with her, you think it's going to be forever, and then she decides, oh, don't want to do that, and you're going to feel like you got bamboozled. But that's kind of how relationships work, is that most people you hook up with, it's probably not going to work out. But this is also why, if you're the guy that's really serious, you want to like really take your time vetting women properly and be more patient. I think with this woman, if you were a bit more patient, one, she'd be all over you instead of vice versa. And also you would have paced it out enough to be able to really see if you actually want to give up that special thing to her or not, or if you want to move on to somebody else. But admittedly, if you're a virgin guy, you're usually trying to like, I'll take whatever, but please somebody please do me. And you don't have the practice yet of being able to say, but wait, I have choice, because up to this point, you haven't, So that's just a lesson you got to learn, that unfortunately, not all your first times are going to stick around. And you just got to know that, hey, if nothing else, you got that first time out of the way. You know how it feels. You learn some things with her on what to do in the bedroom. And now you can walk confidently into the next relationship, knowing that if nothing else, you have that skill set with you, Let's see. I felt we definitely had connection, even though dating wasn't on the table in the near future. And I realized that I'm the one with the attachment style. Well, yeah. And also too, the reality is dating could have, well, being in a relationship with her could have been on the table. But again, important lesson, it's rarely going to stay on the table if you as the guy are the one trying to ask for the relationship, trying to pursue this as a relationship, trying to suggest it to her as a relationship, because it's always going to be rushed. Like most guys, I did the show where I talked about how men fall in love at first sight at like 8.2 seconds, whereas women, it takes 15 days. That's for falling in love fast, So usually by 2 or 3 dates, most guys are like, okay, I'm ready to be in a relationship. And then they get upset when the woman's not ready at the same amount of time, because women need 2 to 3 months to solidify their feelings. And they need that time to be able to trust themselves enough with you that you are the guy that they want. So you're always going to feel like you're ready first, which is why, again, you shouldn't be saying, I love you, I feel things, I'm feeling deeply, because you're probably going to be saying it at a pace where she's not there. And if you were to hold those things back, because I know guys think like, well, if I hold it back, I'm playing games, isn't that? Well, guess what, guys? If you are patient and you don't reveal those things, you will find that she will suddenly be ready to date you and ready to be in a relationship, because she's going to feel as though you respected her pace and allowed her to come to those conclusions on her own that you already came to three dates into dating her. All right. So you lose if you want to do things your way in terms of trying to rush this process. Like I know because I've had so many guys comment as late, like, well, I should just be able to text whenever, and I should be able to call whenever, this and that. You can do whatever you want. This show is designed to tell you guys what's worked for me. And when I was trying to rush call and rush text and rush relationships, I didn't get them. When I laid back a bit and was more patient and waited for her to get to where she needed to be, it resulted in relationships. So that's what I tell you guys. If you choose not to follow that, you can do what you're doing right now. But is that working for you? If it's working for you, then hey, don't even watch this show. But if it's not, just consider trying something different. That's all I'm saying.
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high class man. You a high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man.